Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment. We'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. So let's get straight into this topic here, guys. So there's a topic right now that just basically came out of nowhere of Stephen A. Smith responding to some comments that are going viral from an ESPN interview that took place between Dave McMenamin and LeBron James himself. Now, I want to put up a post here from Yahoo Sports just to quickly summarize it because I'm not going to go through the whole post, all his comments from the article. So let's go up to pull up the post here. It says on the first slide, "I hope I made him proud, at least wearing that number 23. LeBron James on Michael Jordan via ESPN's Dave McMenamin." That's one slide. The next slide said, "I have never compared myself to MJ because our games are totally different. I have been a point forward slash forward point my whole life. I have always looked for the pass. MJ looked for the shot. LeBron in the comparison to Michael Jordan." And then we have another slide. It says, "There are a lot of things where I would say my game is a lot different and a little bit better than MJ's, but he was effing great. We're both great. We're both great basketball players." And the next slide, it says, "There are a lot of things that MJ did better than I do. And and I think there are some things that I do better than him. That's just how the game goes." And then on the final slide, it says, "I never thought that I could be Jordan, but I dreamed of the opportunity to live in the shoes that he lived in. I dreamed of having my own sneaker. I dreamed of flying through the air like him." And then it says in the text, "LeBron spoke on Michael Jordan's influence on him and how their careers have been compared in the GOAT debate." Now, as well in that article, LeBron James also complained about the fact that, of the criticisms that he's received throughout the course of his career, how he didn't realize, like he used to really upset him early in his career when people will talk about his winning percentage in the NBA finals and stuff like that. So they brought all of it and talked about the criticism, blah, blah, blah. So they brought all of this to the table on ESPN First Take today, featuring Stephen A. Smith, Michael Wilbon, and Chris Mad Dog Russo. And Stephen A., after hearing LeBron's comments, took it in a totally different direction that I actually want to play for you first, and then we'll come back and react to it. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith's comments here.
You can look at two guys without, for the purpose of the shit. But obviously, it's usually somebody doing that to me. That is where the problem lies. Because what we don't talk about enough, Wilbon and Doggy, is as great as LeBron James is and how much he deserves to be celebrated, we don't talk about what he has done to hurt, not the game, but narratives associated with the game because of how he responds to it. I looked it up, Wilbon and Doggy. Do y'all know that there have been over 5,400 players in NBA history that have played in the NBA? Put Wilbon and Doggy up on the screen, please. I want to see them. 5,400 plus players in the NBA. I have LeBron James as number 2 all time. We're talking about Russell. We're talking about Kareem. We're talking about Wilt. We're talking about Kobe. We're talking about Elgin Baylor and Oscar Robertson and all these people. I have the man number 2. In his world, that's an insult. That is how he has acted with so many people along the way. But he doesn't do it directly, as you know, Wilbon, and as you should know, Doggy. Oh, no. Other people do it for him. I remember years ago when I'm sitting there joking around with Rich Paul, and I'm like, y'all act like that's an insult. Seriously, with a serious face, Rich Paul looks me in the face. It is an insult. What? That is the problem. And so what happens is they've given the impression that I'll use the word poop for FCC airwaves now, that we're pooping on players, okay? We're talking about them. What do we do to today's players that wasn't done before? I understand the advent of social media and beyond, and that everybody has a voice and everybody has a podcast and everybody got something to say. But in terms of the actual narratives, who hasn't gone through it? You tell me the player, Wilbon, you've been coaching, you've been covering the NBA for 40 years. You tell me, Doggy, Hall of Fame radio host for 40 years. You tell me what has been said about today's players that wasn't said about dudes in the past in terms of their on-court performance. We always compared. We always put one above the other. We talked about Isaiah Thomas. Isn't he one of the greatest point guards to have ever lived? Didn't we bring up Nate Tiny Archibald? Didn't we bring up Bob Cousy? Didn't we later bring up the Allen Iversons of the world? Haven't we brought up Magic Johnson? Didn't we bring up John Stockton? Didn't we bring up, name after name, shoot guards, El Jabel, Oscar Robertson, all of these people. Jerry West was the silhouette. Didn't we bring up the fact that he had one title in 9 tries? We've done it to everybody. Didn't we bring up the turnovers with Magic Johnson in the finals against Boston where he cried like a baby in the shower, Wilbon, which you know better than most. It broke his heart and how he was determined to come back and got him not once but 2 more times. Didn't we talk about that? The great Wilt Chamberlain. Didn't we say he quit during an NBA Finals appearance? But somehow, some way, all of these generations of players embraced and accepted its talk, it's basketball talk, and it's reserved for the great ones. So we can debate it, but there's no doubt if your name is in the conversation, it's because you're an all-time great. But when it comes to LeBron James, oh no, you pooping on a player. You dogging them. It's the negativity. It's what's happened to the game. And instead of appreciating how he is revered, how much we'll miss him when he's gone, how we cannot deny that this man belongs on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. My career wouldn't be what it is if it were not for people like him. Yours wouldn't either, Doggy or Wilbon. None of us. They helped us be who we are. But we're talking about it, and when we talk about it and we compare, oh, we're dogging them. And you've fostered that mentality to the modern day players in such a way that the heightened level of sensitivity has regressed to a point of embarrassment where we're literally looking at grown men who are elite, prestigious. We look at them, we admire, damn it, we wish we were them, at least physically and in terms of their capabilities, because we know they are things that we could never hope to be. We talk about it, we celebrate it, we debate it, we revere them, we big up them, we prop them, all of it. And none of it matters because how dare you compare? That is what LeBron James does when he brings out the part of us pooping and diminishing the players. He takes it that way, but then he leaves it to others to speak on it instead of owning it himself. You have a conversation, and that's all it would take.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say there in response to LeBron James. Stephen A. is saying that criticism isn't anything new, that it's part of sports. But what LeBron and his fans base have successfully done is turn themselves into victims when in reality they're not. In reality, they have put themselves in a position where they have a whole bunch of LeBron guys in media, on TV and podcasts, sports publications, to essentially shape the narrative. And then what happens is whenever you have a person that says, no, I disagree with that, all of a sudden he's being attacked. That's the reason why you can hear people like Shannon Sharp when you think about all of the hate that LeBron receives. Bro, it's called pushback. And is LeBron the only one that receives hate? You think everybody likes Michael Jordan? You think Michael Jordan was cheered on in every single arena? All of those other stars that he stopped from winning championships, you think they loved him? What about Kobe? Didn't Kobe receive criticism? Didn't Allen Iverson receive criticism? Didn't Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Didn't Magic Johnson? Didn't Larry? Didn't Isaiah? Everybody received criticism at one point or another. But what these guys have found a way to do is that they've now turned criticism into hating. If you don't like LeBron the way I like him, you're just a hater. Essentially, this is what these guys have successfully done. And in the process of this, they've managed to fry the brains of a lot of young fans. This is where we are in the game. And then, of course, you have a lot of people that want to grow podcasts and do all of this stuff. And they play the game. They act like as if this is something real, when in reality, everybody got criticized. Kobe Bryant didn't get scrutinized. Allen Iverson didn't go through any scrutiny. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what exactly are we talking about? And that's why Stephen A. Smith is getting upset. And then on top of that, he's exposing some of the games that LeBron plays, as I told you. He won't come out and say it himself. He'll get people on his behalf to do it, as I just said. That's why you have all of these people in media playing these games and doing all of this backbiting and all LeBron. You're turning around and hating on LeBron. We know the game. Even LeBron fans know the game, but they pretend not to. So now they're pretending to be victims when they know all they've done is trash all of his teammates at every stop to elevate him, but then want to turn themselves into the class of people that are being victimized. You can't make this stuff up.